Thank you very much, professionals, entrepreneurs, joining us live today for today's episode of the Corporate Live Show with McAden. It is another exciting day, another exciting weekend, and I'm sure you are joining us live today. You are excited about the discussion we'll be having tonight. It's going to be a fantastic one. Please, as you join us on the conversation tonight, don't be selfish because we are discussing something very critical, something very important as it affects you as a professional. Please let's know where you're joining us from. Let's know what you're doing, and then we'll be able to address you properly. Especially for those that are joining us online right now, please let us know you. All right, please drop those comments there. Sorry for the feedback we're getting from that. Trying to figure out what is wrong. But as you join us, drop those comments. Okay, okay, okay. For those joining us on YouTube, I can see myself on YouTube right now. Yeah, the YouTube channel. So sorry about that. Okay, that has been turned off. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's gonna be an interesting conversation. Drop a comment as you join us for tonight's conversation. Remember, this is Corporate Live Show with McAden, and tonight we're going to be discussing something very important, something amazing. I mean, a topic that really touches everyone right now. People are thinking, or if you have not started thinking, friends around you taking that decision has already started influencing you to start thinking in that same direction that you don't want to find yourself in before now. So today we're talking about on the show tonight. JAPA or SAPA, a strategic choice in today's economy, and there is no other reason behind what we're doing rather than to educate us properly. So you still have the power of choice to make that decision whether or not you want to take the decision to stay or JAPA. And and let me just give us this vibe. If you have a better definition, what is your own definition of JAPA? Because I always like to start the conversation from that angle. Tell us, what do you think about JAPA, and for you, what is SHAPA? I want us to start dropping those comments in the comment box as we continue with the conversation tonight. Remember, this is Corporate Live with McAden, and tonight with me, I have two guests who will be coming head to head because this is a special edition. It comes up once in a month, and this Friday is the head to head discussion, and the topic is on JAPA or SHAPA. So we have our guests, two of them with supporting the area. They feel like, okay, this is where I stand. It may not be the same place where you stand, but listen to them, enjoy the conversation, share your opinion in the comment section. Definitely, we would like to hear from you. Thank you very much. I can see Justina Oyedeji. Thank you, Justina Oyedeji from OAU Ileife, joining us live right now. Thank you very much, Justina Oyedeji. So if you're joining us, drop comments. I will also invite your friends. If you're joining us, if you're seeing us right now, the only way I can know if you're joining us is if you drop a comment in the comment section, and then we can display your comment in the what on the screen so that others can see you. Thank you very much. If you're joining us, please drop a comment and we'll extend our greetings to you from the studio. So tonight is it's going to be an interesting session. It's going to be a conversation indeed. And as we continue with the conversation, it is very important for me to quickly inform you that you can also watch us live on Instagram. I mean, you can watch us live on YouTube. You can watch us live on LinkedIn. From next month, you'll be able to watch us live on Facebook again. We'll be resuming back to Facebook Live. So we're also looking at the possibility of going also straight forward to what Twitter Live and Instagram Live. So we'll be able to have our audience across multiple platforms to what engage us on this conversation. Remember, this is Corporate Live Show with McAden, and I am your host. My name is Adeniyi Macarthy. So as we continue on in the conversation tonight, let me just quickly introduce our guest to you. The first person on the list is Mr. Monsuru Sodeeq, who is going to be taking the side of the JAPA party. So if you're in the party of the JAPA, you will be on the side of Mr. Monsuru. Please, let's welcome Mr. Monsuru to the studio. Thank you very much, Mr. Monsuru, for holding forth. Thank you for being here on the show with us tonight. It's an interesting one to have you here. What do you have to say, sir?
Thank you very much for having me. MC Adeniyi, I'm so happy to be here.
Thank
I'm
you
glad to
very much.
be part of this conversation.
Oh, okay. Before we go on with the conversation, I know it's going to be an interesting conversation. Of course, it's going to be an enlightening one, and it's going to be a shocking one for some people because they'll be learning a few things that they feel. Oh, I should reconsider my decision. Oh, I should. Um, when you received the invitation for this conversation, how did you feel regarding the conversation?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. I think when I received the invitation to participate in this discussion, I just feel that, well, I think this is one of the opportunity I can also share my own perspective about these topical issues of JAPA, leaving the country. So I just see it as a way of also telling people what my own insights about the trending issue of JAPA.
Hmm. All right, we're going to learn a lot from Mr. Sodeeq Monsuru on the trending insights. I mean, what else? Where else do you think you should be at this point in time? If not here on the screen watching us right now discussing this topic, so that you can learn and take a proactive decision on wherever angle you find yourself. So with tonight's discussion, you'll be able to take an appropriate decision, and I do hope your decision after this conversation will be that you can say, oh, thank God for it. Thank God for Corporate Life Show with McAden. And our next guest on the show tonight, we're still waiting for him to join us. I do hope he can be with us as soon as possible. But then, quickly coming back to the conversation, I would still like our audience to quickly talk to us on the chat box. Talk to us. Let's get to know how you feel about this conversation tonight. And Mr. Monsuru, you can take just a few minute break to quickly invite some of your guests. I mean, some of your friends that some people in your that are in your contact to follow us on this conversation right now, so that we can get more audience because this is a very important topic. We don't want anyone to lose out on this conversation. Then, if you are not able to listen to us or watch us live directly for this live session, be sure that you can always watch us live. I mean, the replay version of this show. Anytime you feel like on Facebook, you can watch us. You can watch us also on LinkedIn. You can watch us. You can watch the replay version of this program, and you can also watch the replay version on YouTube. So anytime you feel like, just go to YouTube. You can watch us. Just search for Corporate Live Show with McAden on YouTube. You can get us there. So we'll be very glad to have you on any of those platforms as we continue in the conversation tonight. I understand our guest is still trying to get into the studio with us. I do hope we can because it's getting hot here, and I think the faster we get into the conversation, the faster we can escape this atmosphere of of hotness here in the studio. And I don't want to leave my I don't want to I want to make sure that my guests on the show tonight are able to escape the heat from the conversation tonight, because the heat is going to be we'll be trashing out a lot of bad ideas, a lot of conception or misconception about whether to jackpot or shakpa, whatever that means to you anyway. We would like to hear on the show tonight. That is the essence of this conversation. And just give me a minute, we will return back, and then we'll be able to do a lot more with the conversation. So take this time to quickly invite your friends, because the show is about to commence fully, and then we are going on with the conversation as planned for this show tonight. This is Corporate Live with McAden. Yes, my name is McCarthy Adeniyi. McAden is my nickname, it's my show name, and I'm always excited every Friday evening at this particular hour of the day. It is always an exciting word, enlightening time for me also. As much as I'm the one talking, I'm the one inviting the guests, and I'm the one asking the questions. I also get the opportunity to learn on the show, and that is no today is no exception. I will also be taking note as we continue in the conversation tonight. So while we're waiting, I do hope Mr. Ibrahim can join us live. We may have to continue with the show because he's not available for us at the moment. We may have to continue with the show. If he's able to join us live, fine. We will continue from where we stop. So, to move on with the show tonight is no it is very essential because we need to move on because of time. Time waits for no man, and because we can't control what time, we must take advantage of the little time we have access to what to utilize on this particular show for tonight discussion. So moving on, let's just go straight to the questions. Mr. Monsuru, Sodeeq will be sharing with us his own part of the what of the conversation tonight. Remember, Mr. Monsuru, tell us which side are you taking tonight? Are you on the JAPA side or the SAPA side?
Yes, I'm on the JAPA side.
Wow,
The
interesting.
JAPA side. That is
Interesting.
living. I can say that Justina has been able to at least give us the definition of JAPA. He said, "Leaving the country
Oh,
for greener pasture
oh,
and better opportunity."
interesting. Interesting.
So that's a perfect definition of JAPA.
That is a perfect definition of jackpot. If you would like to further explain that what that really mean as a whole, tell us in your own definition with a further explanation. In examination they will say there's a difference between definition and then explanation. Explain to us what is jackpot to you.
I think the word JAPA is from a Yoruba language, and it's just like a slang. So it means that people live in the country. So, and we've seen that there has been mass exodus of Nigerians, especially the youths, leaving the country for better opportunity. That's why just this evening I came across a statistics from the United Nations Department of Economic and Social
Hmm.
Affairs. And they provided information about how fast are Nigerian living.
Hmm.
So they did that survey from 1990 to 2020. So they do it every 5 years. So when they started in 1990, they said about 446,753 Nigerians
Wow.
leave the country, and the number continues to increase like that. And as at the last time when the survey was done, they had 1,655,000 Nigerians, youths, leaving the country. I am very sure that this is an understatement because I believe that the people that have been living this country are more than this 1 million people. But at least if we are to put it into perspective, I think this is what UN Department of Economic and Social Affairs have been able to put together, in 2020. So it means that, in every definition of JAPA, it means that people are looking for opportunities, and that is why they are leaving their own country to a place where they believe that they can be able to get that opportunities. And what are those opportunities they are looking for? Opportunities just to at least earn a better living, and that is what most of the people that are living this country are not getting here. And they believe that if they can be able to go to other parts of the another country, they believe that their situation may be better. So I think that is the major reason why people are leaving the country. They are leaving the country to ensure that they get a better deal for their life, because this life is meant to be enjoyed. And when you are in a place and you are not getting the value for your life, people always look for alternative. In economics, they said economics is about studying human action. So one of the human action here is that people are looking for places to get better opportunity, better jobs, better security, better source of livelihood, and getting more knowledge uh, about a particular knowledge. I think those are the reason, and that is my own definition of JAPA and how it relates to the statistic I've just presented.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right.
That is an
Oh,
extensive one. That is a very powerful explanation with data to back up your definition and your expression of what you are talking about. It means that you really have done your assignment regarding the conversation for tonight. Before we continue with the show tonight, please permit me. Yes, and our second guest is on the show already and is ready for us to what join us in the conversation. Thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim, for joining us tonight. And I'm so glad to be having these both great minds here. I mean, these are great minds to have this conversation with tonight. And tonight discussion will move on as planned. And thank God everyone is here already. So we are talking about JAPA and SAPA already. And Mr. Ibrahim, just quickly tell us a bit about what's your take about the topic.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much. Just to be sure again that you can hear me. Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Super. Mr. Sodeeq, it's a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for your perspective. So I think this has been a very important subject that unfortunately in the past 3 years, we have seen a lot of people joined the bandwagon. And there's something called bandwagon effect. Sometimes because everybody is doing something, and then people thoughtlessly, unfortunately, do those things without taking into consideration so many other factors. Personally, I'm an advocate for people to move in in the direction of, I mean, better life, better opportunity. But the question one has to ask himself sometimes is, people don't have a decision matrix. Maybe you list like 10 points. I want to change my location. Is the cost of living where I'm going to, is it better than where I currently am? Is the standard of living, overall standard of living, is it better than what I'm currently experiencing? What is the survival index? What are some factors
Mm.
that you consider, like racism, the ease of doing business, so many things. And because I have traveled a lot, and I met a lot of people who are stranded in several countries. So
Mm.
I am an advocate for people to stay and be be 100% sure, using statistics and facts that directly relates to you as a person before you make that decision, so that you don't bite your fingers in the end. So generally, I think, I mean, as it relates to Nigeria, I think with some information that I have and some of the information we are exposed to, I think that the land is going to be green very soon. And so if one takes a second thought, maybe you might want to consider staying back. Yeah, like some of
Mm.
us here now.
Mm.
Yeah.
Take a second thought, and the land is going to be green. That is what Mr. Ibrahim just told us. So you need to be what strategic about your decision. You need to what consider a lot of factors, and those are the things we're going to be discussing tonight on this show. And that's the essence of having this conversation, and that's the reason why we have two guests who have different opinion regarding the topic, and we have Mr. Ibrahim who will be supporting the stay. And let me start from this note also. Let me come back. Earlier on, I asked Mr. Monsuru to define what JAPA is all about, and so let me give you a chance to also define for.
I don't know if this is from my end, but I lost you. I think, Mr. McCarthy, I can't hear you.
Yes, I think it should be from his own hand, maybe his network or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Okay, sorry over there. I think there was a network glitch. So I was gonna ask Mr. Ibrahim. I believe everyone can hear me, right?
Yes, we can.
Right.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. I was going to ask you to what help us with a with your own definition. Clarify for us what is shakpa. Does shakpa means staying and then suffering? And because the mentality of Nigerian is that if you are staying, then you are going to experience shakpa. So how do you define shakpa? And then, in conclusion, what will you tell the audience about shakpa?
All right. So basically, from my understanding of the terminology Shakpa, which basically a lot of people, I mean, use in a weird, I mean, in a funny way, like we see a lot of videos that people also do on a lot of skits. So basically, is a pidgin, is a slang used in pidgin English. Most times we use it to characterize a situation where someone is, you know, impoverished, a situation where, due to economic circumstances, you find yourself living somewhat below poverty level. Somehow you are unable to live life at the level that you want to be able to live life, mostly due to economic circumstances. And this is the situation with a lot of people in Nigeria at the moment. However, this is the situation with a lot of people in UK, in Canada, in the US, and several countries. I'm not even talking about, to a large extent, most migrants, but we also see a lot of people who are indigenous, who are also experiencing what is similar to something called JAPA, I mean SAPA, because they are unable to their account balance, like some people say, my account balance no rich flashing credit, like some of them are out of job. For example, recently there's the great uh, we've seen the great resignation. Now is the great layoffs happening in Silicon Valley,
Hmm.
Twitter, Google, and some of these people, the moment they lost their jobs, they go from hero to zero, because it's literally because, like, they are living from their job to their mouth. A lot of people they are burdened with loans that they are repaying. Even here in Nigeria, same is happening. All kind of loans. So generally the quality of life is not as expected, and people are struggling to survive.
Hmm.
So the key word there is that they are struggling to survive, and their responsibility to survive, and then move from surviving to thriving. If you know, like they say, do more way, do more way. So
Mm-hmm.
if you know the way to navigate the economic miasma, then the shark bar situation can turn to your own advantage.
Hmm. If you know your way, you can turn around the sharper situation to your own advantage. That is the word for Mr. Ibrahim, and I'm taking that word. And for Mr. Monsuru, who supported the JAPA ideology, he says something that relates to what my mentor used to say, but in a way to support his emotion for this discussion, because this is a head-to-head discussion. In a way to support that, my mentor used to say something that you don't have to perish in your parish. You can always change the parish. So that's the word for me to support Mr. Mansour, who is talking about Japa is the best strategy. We'll be supporting that. So we're going to continue with the conversation. Please, if you're watching us right now, you'll be watching either from YouTube or from LinkedIn Live. Please drop a comment in the comment section. That is the only way we can get to know if you're joining us live. So we'll get signals from you. And you can also drop your own opinion based on whatever question is being asked. Some of the questions will be displayed on the screen, except those questions that will be coming out of the conversation. So thank you very much. I can see Abati Jibola Olusheye, thank you very much. Abati Olushola Olusheye, who is joining us. I don't know where you're joining us from. You can drop a message on the comment section. So let's get to know where you're joining us from. So going back straight to the what? To the purpose. I mean, the questions we have for us tonight. With the way things are going, with the current situation in the country, what is your advice to leave? I know we already know your stand, but critically speaking, will you say to leave? Let me ask Mr. Ibrahim first. Since you spoke last, I think I should bring back that question to you. Oh, Mr. Ibrahim dropped on the call. But while we're waiting for Mr. Ibrahim, let's go straight back to Mr. Monsuru, Sodeeq, to what expatiate on this particular question, because this question is for both of you.
Yeah, the question is quite direct, that with the current situation in the country, what is your advice? Is it to leave, which is JAPA, or to stay? And I'm on the side of JAPA. And the reason being that we have seen a lot of economic hardship in the country. We've seen the high rate of inflation. But surviving has been so difficult. In fact, we've seen a situation where the price of oil has even gone up. So people are really struggling now to even fuel their own vehicle or to even fuel their generator. And knowing fully well that we don't even have energy, we don't have sufficient energy. And the little one that we have has even been taken away. The government, what they ought to have done to provide the palliative before the removal of the subsidy, but they did the alternative, and that is really biting so hard on people. And I will also say that because of unemployment, the rate of unemployment is in the double digits. You see graduates today, they finish their program and they get to the labor market, nothing to do. So it's been so much difficulties for Nigerians. What about our educational system? The educational system is in comatose. We've seen a lot of situations where ASU, they definitely just go on strike on their own will. And sometimes you may not need to blame them because of the lack of infrastructure in our education system. So many challenges facing the country. And this has encouraged even more people to say, okay, what about if I even try the opportunity of going to other countries, whether things will be better for me? And I will agree with Mr. Ibrahim when he said, before you leave the country, it is always good for you to do at least some kind of background check of where you are going to. But one thing I know is that if you go to any country, we've seen high rate of even remote jobs. People are looking for jobs, tech jobs. In fact, some countries on their own have even come up with specific programs for people that wants to, migrate to their country. So this is the level to which the people, the other governments have seen the importance of human resources. So in this part of the country, we are not taking our human resources. They believe that the best, the human resources we have is the oil, but the main resources is our human development and our skill development, and these are our people. So since you have most of the government, this is across board. It's not limited to the federal government, the state government, or even the local governments. Most of them have deviated from the primary purpose for which they are elected to lead the country. And because of this has encouraged a lot of people to really japa out of the country. And I can tell you that though there are, in every situation, everything cannot be perfect. So if you say maybe like 100% of the people that japa, definitely you will see about 80% or if not more than that number that will still be doing well in the other country as opposed to their situation when they are in this part of the country. Because the reason being that they have security there, at least they have, no matter how the level of unemployment there, it will still be better than our own part here. They have something to do. Because our people are not lazy. They're just looking for a place to get something, no matter how small it is. And we've seen a lot of success stories. People go out of the country, they learn a lot of new skills, new culture, that some of them, when they even come back, they find a way to put some of these things into practice. And a way, when you even JAPA, is another way of even upgrading yourself, because there are some skills that you may not necessarily get here because of our lack of infrastructure or lack of economic development, but you will get it over there. So in all, if you are going to JAPA, I'll just say define the purpose for which you want to JAPA, because JAPA is very good. If you JAPA, at least there are definitely, no matter the limited opportunity that you may think exists out there, it will still be better than what we have in this part of the country. Thank you. Hello, are you still with us? MC
Yeah, I can
Actor?
hear you. I don't
MC
know.
Aden, are you with us?
I think he's having
I
some.
think we lost him again.
Yes, I think so too. Yeah.
Some network. Okay, maybe we have to wait for him again.
Yes.
I think he's still having issue with network connecting.
I think so too. Yeah. I'm trying to reach out to him.
Okay, so sorry.
He's back.
I don't know. I really cannot say. Maybe this will be one of the reasons why we need to jackpot or consider staying. I'll continue to think about that. I hope Mr. Ibrahim, you are able to convince me on this note, because my router here has just been messing up. It is well. Okay, thank you very much for holding back. I mean, the network was really messy here, and so it's restored back. I do hope that it continues to stabilize as we continue the conversation. So, Mr. Ibrahim, coming back to you, Mr. Monsuru said so many things, and I can get feedback from people that are saying Mr. Monsuru really has a lot of points to share, and I do hope we can get those points highlighted from our audience watching us live right now. To say more things about their own opinion. But then let me come back, because of our time, back to Mr. Ibrahim. What do you have to say regarding the topic? I mean, the question raised.
All right, thank you so much. So basically, I think let me quickly. So I think there are different categories of people. Yeah, I think there is the, permits me to use, for want of word, use the word the masses, like those who are in the Maslow's hierarchy, those whose primary focus, is to be able. They are still in the last rung of the Maslow's hierarchy, and basically what they are looking for is their physiological needs, food, shelter, clothing, so but to a very large extent, I think that a larger percentage of those who are relocating from the country, they moved one or two steps, they are at that level where they are thinking a feeling of belonging. I want security, but this category of people also maybe, somewhat close to the middle class, right? So averagely the salary range for some of these people maybe between 250,000 naira, but 300,000 to like 700, 800,000 naira, which is a fair range. And this I'm saying from experience, because I have a lot of people who have left the country, who have interacted with some, have facilitated their leaving the country. I've said this to say that so a lot of people in this category are people who, some of them actually have a job that pays them well. They have access to basic health care. You have access to you have your HMOs, for example. uh, but like I can say 60 to 75% of people who japa, 60 to 75% of them have never left the country before. So sometimes, because you don't know how it is there, so a number of people think when you go there you are picking gold on the floor. So people are not, many people don't, many people are not planning properly before they take this decision. I met a guy, two brothers. I think some 4 years ago, I was traveling to Dubai. I met them at the airport in Nigeria. They were going to Dubai. I interrogated them. What are you going to do? Like, what are you doing here? So this guy says to me like, I have one has an HND and I think the other has a BSc. He says I run a barbing salon. So we have sold everything. We just needed to gather money, to go to Dubai. We just believe that life is going to be better there. So we're on the same flight. So we got there. When we got to Dubai, I went for some business. So after some days, because we stayed in touch, so like maybe 6 days after on a weekend, I reached out to them. Guys, come, let's have some breakfast together on a Saturday, and we had breakfast. And I interrogated them. So where do you guys stay? First of all, they had come in with some through some agencies, and some of these agencies, some of these guys, they collect their passports once they get there. uh they signed an agreement with them. They will get them some job, they will take some amount of money. They got eventually got a place where they were staying, and about 8 people were staying in a room. So they were staying on the two brothers were staying on one bunk, you know and these guys were relatively doing okay based on what they had told me before. I stayed in touch with them for like for at least 1 2 years. The situation did not particularly improve. What basically improved was they got like 3 jobs, so they were almost working like 21 hours the whole
Mm.
day. You leave one job to another. They were earning dirhams. When you convert to naira, is more. I mean, like maybe 4 times what you are earning per month here. But you have to pay. And one thing I used to tell people again, you got to do your research. I mean, averagely, say in UK, for example, how much do you pay for your accommodation? Approximately between 500 to 1,500 pounds per month, and they pay monthly. So depending on where you are staying, you have roommates, you are paying for electricity bill. Yeah, Nigeria there's no electricity, but there you are paying your electricity bill, pay as you go. You are paying your internet bills. Bills can kill you. Like you are paying every damn thing. You if you leave a job now, you don't have a job or they fire you or something, then be rest assured that either you are becoming homeless, or
Mm.
people are there are people, and then there are food banks. I was watching some video yesterday of a lot of Nigerians who got skilled workers visas, go to the UK, and then when they got there, they didn't give them any shift. So and they paid like $10,000. The issue I have is people sell their houses, sell their cars, sells all the
Mm.
things they have, raise almost like 10, 15 million, 20
Want the
million.
village behind you.
Yes, and you get there, and then you go. Most of them can never tell you what they are doing, and this is a large percentage. So, in summary, what I'm trying to say is this: a lot of people go there without planning. When they get there, they see the real situation, and then they are living much lower than the levels that they don't have the freedom. Yes, you can buy nice clothes, you can buy nice shoes, you have internet going, but you don't have your freedom. You are not particularly happy. By the time you earn £4,000, and it's not everybody who is earning £4,000 in UK, or you are earning $3,000 per month, when you finish paying your bills, maybe you have some $500 or $300 left. You have very little to save. You can only get by. You can't really make wealth. Generally, that's what
Mm.
happens. So I would therefore suggest that before you decide to make that decision, before you decide to japa, try your best. I mean, 200,000, between 200,000, 350,000 you can save. Take a trip to South Africa. South Africa is a very beautiful place, like Europe, or go to Kenya, or even go to Paris. I saw some deals on Wakana. It's not too expensive. Take that trip for 1 week, or for 7 days. Go and see how the economy is. Investigate for yourself before you pack everything and jackpot, because it's very difficult to jackpot that, you know, for you to come back when you realize that you have made a mistake.
All right, thank you very much. I deliberately allowed Mr. Ibrahim to really take his time to explain that angle, because this is a pitiful situation. We hear that almost every day. Situation where people are stranded, and some people will tell you, "Don't come to this place, is a bad place," and this and that. And some people will tell you, "Oh, they are telling us lies." But then this conversation is going to trash those ideology. And by the time you have facts and figures to what back up your decision, you are able to what take proper and appropriate decision to what better your life, because the end goal is the search for greener pasture, right? And on this discussion tonight, we're going to have the right map for a trip to that greener pasture. And I'm sure Mr. Sodeeq is here to deal with questions that will bother your mind or bother your mind already regarding this area of decision for your life journey. And Mr. Ibrahim will also do justice to help us shape our thoughts with critical thinking before taking that decision. And that's why we're having this conversation tonight. Moving straight to the question, I want to employ my guests on the show because I know you guys you're full of content and you want to actually take the opportunity to what educate our audience. But then time is not going to be on our side because we have limited time. So with less than 20 minutes left, we want to tackle the rest of the question we have for us today on the show. We have about 14 questions. That's if you divide it by you multiply by 2. That is 7 questions times 2 to each of us. So let's quickly move on to the questions. Question number 2. So we have these questions divided for us, and to our guests supporting JAPA, and that's to Mr. Monsuru, Sodeeq. Thank you very much for being here on the show. Does JAPA offer more sustainable and adequate approach to thriving? Because I heard a lot of things said by Mr. Ibrahim earlier. Thriving in this hard economy, and he also emphasized on the fact that bad economy is not just in Nigeria; it's also in other part of the world. So, what do you say? How does it achieve? How does one achieve that?
Yeah, I think what I would like to say here is that we know that it is not rosy out there, but what I just know is that it is much better out there.
Okay.
And this is the reason why I'm saying that. For
In 1
example,
minute, sir,
in this
just
part
answer
of
the
the
question
country,
so that we can manage his time. I'm sorry. All right, thank you.
okay, so what do you want me to say?
Yeah, I said in 1 minute, like answer the question in summary so that we can manage the time.
Okay, you mean how does it achieve, how can someone achieve that if you, as in getting a sustainable
Yes.
approach to thriving in this
Yeah,
hard,
the question is in
so
two
the hard
parts.
economy, are you referring to, are you referring to Nigeria or outside the country?
Anywhere in the country, everybody is moving. Well,
Okay, for me, if I'm to advise people, if they want to achieve some sustainable level of what is it called in Nigeria, though I know I'm talking about JAPA. If you want to JAPA, since Mr. Ibrahim is talking about staying, if you want to JAPA and you are trying to find a way to have a sustainable economy to avoid maybe the hardship over there. So the first thing you need to do is to ensure that you do your research properly before going to that country and look at the opportunity that you think can be availed to you. And with that, you can take your decision. Because I know someone who also had a similar experience there. He was able to do is, look at different opportunity. He's an artisan, and the guy even went to the same Dubai that Mr. Ibrahim talked about. So, and on getting there, the guy was a tailor, a fashion designer, and he got there. He also went through these agents and getting there because, Nigerians are known for hard working. And the guy is really doing well compared to when he was in Nigeria. So the first thing is ensure that you know where you are going to and what you want to go and do out there. So you need, and that is sustainable. Because if you consistently make maybe monthly income from that aspect, regardless of the taxes that they will charge you, and you still believe that you can still be able to save certain amount of money for you to be able to reinvest back to the country. And in a way, it's also a way for government to generate, foreign exchange to also facilitate some of the programs we have in the country. I think we lost
I think
the
the
host again.
yes. I think the
His
network
network,
the
his network,
network is
yeah.
supporting this conversation of you know you know and I mean it's something
I
that
hope I hope he has not JAPA to go
and
and
left us
experience what we are talking about here.
yeah. So maybe we just give him some time.
It's okay, we do that.
I think this particular disconnection is protracted. Uh,
Yeah, I must be trying to reconnect back.
yeah, I believe so. One of the major challenges as well is in recent times a number of service guys, IT guys, you know,
Yeah,
have also left the country, and
that's true.
so it's affecting service delivery.
That's true.
Um, so across different sectors, we experience it in bank applications, you know, like
That's
in fact, we experience it also with, you are trying to get customer service, from uh, different service provider, your ISP, and so on and so forth. The, the response time is now very slower because the people who you would usually solve the problem, these guys have also been picked. Some of them maybe not of their own intention, but they have just been picked, you know but with the statistics you gave, I also saw the I saw
And I think, yeah, sorry, go on.
Yes, according to Statista, I saw some of their statistics, and they had said 0.29. The rate of migration is 0.29 per 1,000. So it's approximately like 58,000 people, are leaving. But I think regardless of the number of people that are leaving, so let's even say 100,000 people have left. I mean, this is a country. What was the percentage versus the 220 million people we have? Generally we have a migration happening, but I think it's also overrated. Indians, for example, are everywhere in the world. Indian is the second most populous nation. I think maybe they are struggling to take it back from
Yeah, that
China.
is- I
Indians
think they've taken it
everywhere.
now. They've taken it.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
they
India,
are
they are the
everywhere in the
largest
world.
population now.
Yeah, but you still have a lot of Indians back in India. Their healthcare, like see people get very sick, Nigerians, and from several places. They take them to India to get some very good healthcare. There are a number of, for example, recently Indian has, I think they've had some breakthrough also in the moon. They are,
Yeah,
they are doing some very interesting. Um, maverick inventions, and standing shoulder to shoulder with, the powers that be. So it means there are still a lot of people back there who are doing interesting things. What I see is also happening is a lot of people back home now, because most of their friends have left. They are disgruntled already. They are not. It looks as if nothing can happen again in Nigeria. Do you understand? But the optic.
Wow, it's like we've also lost Mr. Ibrahim. Okay, you're back. Your network is
So
breaking.
many.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I think it's better now. Yeah, that is true. That is true. But yeah, for me, I think the major reason why people are really leaving the country is because of the lack of governance, which has led to limited opportunities. We can that this country that we are referring to, for example, India that we are talking about now, that are making a lot of breakthrough
Mm,
and even
mm,
competing with the likes of the US and the UK. At least their governments, they have what we call developmental plan,
mm,
and that they have stick to it, and these have been working for them. But in this part of the country, can we say we really have a developmental plan? A particular government will come today with their own policy, and before you know it, after that government, the continuity is not there. And how do you
mm.
want a country to develop in that pattern? The education system, as we earlier mentioned, is not, in fact, you will see some of our graduates these days, after their graduation, for them to even write their project, they have to outsource it. So we are not doing all these things. So the system failure is, I think, is one of the major things that is
Maybe.
encouraging people to leave, to leave the country.
Yeah, so maybe not from the
So
government.
you say something? Because let's take for even example, let's look at some of the countries like me. I'm in the part of the north, and in this part of this, they do some forms of production. They do processing of goods, and the places where they even get their raw material, their crops, you will see that the insecurity, the banditry, high level of insecurity in those parts of the country, of the state, has even discouraged people from going to the farm to at least get all these crops. And that has also accounted for some people being frustrated. Let's say, for example, now you have a factory and you are expecting raw material from the corn nuts, and people cannot go to the farm. So how do you expect that person to be able to at least sustain this factory? So you see in this case, this encouraged some of them to say, instead of just stressing myself on this kind of situation, let me just leave the country. So you are welcome back, Mr. Mark MC Aden.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry, this network people. Let me not mention the brand so that it won't be a brand damage on their part. So thank you very much for holding the ground for the conversation. I don't know if Mr. Ibrahim has spoken at all regarding the question. Mr. Ibrahim, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Did you ask me a question?
Yes, I was asking if you are speaking regarding the question for this
Okay, so I
particular.
was just about to speak before you came in. So I don't know if you can hear me, so I can
Okay, go ahead,
quickly.
please.
All right, so I think I just want to make a few points here. So because my question is basically about how can people how can they if they decide to stay back, how can we how do you put it now, um how do we survive in these economic situations? Are there strategies that we can
Yeah.
employ, right? That's the question. All right, so just a few points I want to make. Number one, cut your coat according to your clothes. And this is, I see that a lot of people measure themselves by themselves. They try to get into things that are more than their their salary scale. Like you don't measure yourself by other people. So if you cannot afford a car, then don't buy a car. There are other, and this
Mm-hmm.
is the same thing that happens whether you stay here or you go there. But here we see there is a
Exactly.
lot of people are borrowing monies to do very extravagant weddings. People are,
Mm.
so people are spending more. It is a bad financial culture. So number one, have a good financial culture. That is cut your coat according to your clothes. Number two, try to have multiple streams of incomes. And how can you have multiple streams of income? Okay, you're working with a particular organization, and this is happening everywhere. Actually, you see, sometimes some people complaining. It will amaze you that you are the only one that is left um in that cycle, thinking that, oh, this country is bad. There are people, the average Nigerian youth has multiple sources of income. People do, there are a lot of business you can do online. You can write, you can, review articles, you can do projects for people. Like, the list is endless. I don't even want to start going into that. There are so many things. And by the way, this is the 21st century. You got to see everybody around you as customers, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
not just the paradox of the century is customers are not jobs. So everybody
Mm.
around is a customer, they
Mm.
have a need. You can solve people's problem. You can take 10,000, 5,000. Just so you have to think, and that's how
Mm.
to navigate difficult economic climate. Another thing I want to say is you need to upgrade skills and capacities and certifications regardless of where you are. That abroad
Mm.
that people are trying to run to. You see, when you get there, let's say you're a medical person, and this is coming from me, who, by the grace of God, I am good. And currently, I also have friends who are Nigerians and who are indigenous in the West, in Southeast Asia, in Africa. Most times when people even relocate, let's say medical person, you have to still do new courses, so you can your certification and your knowledge, your skill, can be applicable to that economy. So whether you are here or there, it means is a common denominator for you to upgrade your skill, upgrade your education. There is Udemy, there's Coursera, there are many. You can do a master's virtually. I know two of my friends who had HND. I personally wrote their recommendations for them. They just got admissions in UK for mechanical engineering to upgrade their HND to BSc virtually. All you got to, I did a master's in marketing and sales at Rome Business, University of Valencia, Spain. All I had to do was, towards the end of the course, I traveled there, then you have the experience there, but I got the certificate, and that's equivalent to US Masters because I'd done my West evaluation. Currently, I'm doing an MBA in the US. I traveled to San Francisco, California. I started my MBA program, but I came back here. So there are some of these, upscaling also of your capacities and certifications that if you do, it will open doors for you. Actually, recent times I've been saying this, and I cannot overflog it. In my industry, I mean the built environment industry, building services is an industry that is growing. In the next 30, 40 years, most of all these other countries have peaked, or they are almost getting to the peak in their development. But here, this is a developing market, and this is why a lot of, yes, maybe the level of FDIs, that's foreign direct investment, we're getting at the moment is not where it should be. But people are investing to the country because the country is the economy is elastic. The country is growing. I keep saying it in recent times that there are so many opportunities that come to me, and people are asking, Ibrahim, can you give me someone who can do this? And these guys are going to pay. But I find it difficult to get people. Most times I get people, they are not baked, whether engineers, whether to do design, something like people are half baked. So a major problem here is people need to really sit down, and I understand that it's difficult. you know I empathize with you, but you got to sit down and say to yourself, how can I be of better value? Because there are so many people even here in Nigeria who want to pay for value. And lastly, I mean, it's possible. I know it is not so. These opportunities I want to talk about now, it's not like so much, but a lot of people are even sitting here in Nigeria and they are working for multinational companies. You see, most multinational companies, what they are doing is they situate their office in, most times, Dubai or Saudi Arabia, the subsidiary responsible for EMEA region, they call it Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So the office is there in the Middle East, but they need local guys who will be working with them. They see, and then you are staying here, you are working, and then when you earn in foreign currency, then you know that you have more value for that money, spending it even here. So finally, like I'm saying, there is the possibility of you also getting those multinational jobs. There are so many, they are there on LinkedIn, but these guys are also looking for people who have upskilled, people who have value, so upgrade and network with the people that can, help, open doors for you, so that even in this SAPA economy, you will just be thriving. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, even in the sharper economy, you just be thriving. I get that. And then one of the other thing I get from the point raised by Mr. Ibrahim is that you can convert every contact to a customer. Thank you very much for that. Stop seeing everybody as a stranger and start treating everyone as a potential customer. And be deliberate about this aspect because maybe I'm gonna start with Mr. Monsuru and then Mr. Ibrahim for a customer, maybe after this conversation. But then I'm telling my audience to also pick those points and work on it. People are close to you, do them a service, and then get paid for what the value you've been able to what offer. So thank you very much. Because of our time, I do hope we're able to take these questions. But then let's take as many of them as we can for the next 10 minutes. Let's see what we can do with that. So question three is a very common statement. How do you ensure you living the country is productive? Are these are these things to what to put? Are there things to put in place? Are there things to put in place before one can japa? This is a question to Mr. Monsuru.
Yes, thank you, the host. I think for me, yes, the question is living the country, can it be quite productive? I think yes, living the country can be productive if you are able to do your research properly and you know the exact country that you are going to. And all these things has to be based on your own desire. Because like earlier, during the conversation, we mentioned that some doctors are leaving the countries, some professional high skilled people are really leaving the countries. Some of the reasons why some of them are leaving, in fact, one of the major things that I think most of them are leaving is maybe because they don't have fulfillment. Or the
Hmm.
fact that they are collecting maybe good
Hmm.
salary does not guarantee that they are really satisfied with what they are doing.
Hmm.
Environment, we know there are a lot of politics going on there. So some people want to explore other environments and find a way to see how best can they be able to fulfill their own, at least their own lifestyle outside the particular what they are actually doing now. So to make that productive, I will advise that when you are going to JAPA as a Nigerian, I always advise people that don't sell your property. Instead of
Hmm.
selling your property, if your property is a big one, you could just, or if you are going to even sell your property, sell it and buy something smaller because you are not going to be available for at least for a specific period of time. For example, maybe someone living in a duplex and you want to japa, I will encourage you to sell that duplex and go for maybe a two-bedroom somewhere that you know that anytime you come back to the country, you can really stay there. So meaning that even as you have JAPA and you have been able to earn some hard income from your particular country, from the country you have just at least migrated to, you can still be able to come back and get the opportunity. And that is why I believe that we have the diaspora, we have one agency now that is in charge of diaspora. So meaning that you can still connect back to the country. So if you are going to move out of the country to look for maybe your fulfillment, though there is no place, if you are moving to a new place, definitely you are going to experience some challenges. So I always advise people that at least for the first 6 months of that place you are going to, just condition your mind as some level of challenges will come your way. And once you're able to at least settle down properly and you start making that money, you can find a way to reinvest that back money to the country and find some maybe investments that you can really do. And as you are also going to do that, you also have to be very careful so that you don't give your money to the wrong people. We know we have a lot of no trust issue in the country. You go and work very hard over there, you make hard-earned money,
Mm,
and you now put the money maybe in the wrong people. So if you are going to travel and you want to ensure that you make this a sustainable one, once you travel, get the money out there, get the skill out there, because I can tell you for a fact, these people are more advanced than us in every ramification. They are very advanced
mm,
in terms of technology, and this we
mm.
can use for our own advantage. Even did. China, I think in the 90s or thereabouts, they sent a lot of people out of the country to go and learn from the US, and they were able to learn their technology. And after so many years in the US, majority of them have to go back to China to use that similar and that knowledge they've gained to develop their country. And for people to come back, it means that the government have to do the right thing for people to be able to come back. But if we still have the issue of insecurity, poor infrastructure, I can tell you for a fact that people may not want to come back.
All right, thank you very much. If we have insecurity, no matter the value you acquired over there, people may not want to come back. I want to hear from Mr. Ibrahim, staying back, and what challenges do you think staying back can bring, and how can one overcome them? Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you. So I just want to say that um, things are difficult. So it's not El Dorado anywhere in the world. So let this be ringing in our ears. So whether we stay here or we move, there will be challenges. And please, I also want you to understand that for the sake of these conversations we're having, I am trying to only make a point for those who are in a quandary whether they should go or not. I bind you to the
Okay.
Philistines that you must not JAPA, but I want to make sure that you open your eyes to the possibilities. And that brings me to the question you asked, what challenges? The challenges that we currently have still exist, and it will continue to exist for a while, we don't know. But we have to find a way to navigate. I've mentioned you have to upskill, Uh, we have to see challenges as opportunity to get the best out of it. Two people were sent to a particular country, a story we were told, and the two people went there. In that country, they don't wear shoes at all. You know, one person came back and he said that, oh, this is a company that manufactures, so they went to do, some uh, they went to do feasibility studies. So the first, we can never be able to sell shoes here. Sales in this country will be zero. But the other guy came back and he says, these guys don't wear shoes at all. So we have a lot of business request is, we are going to get overwhelmed. So let us go into this place and overtake. So what I'm trying to say is some people will see these challenges, but other people will see as opportunities. We have a lot of young our host, when you disconnected earlier, myself and Mr. Monsuru, we're just talking about the internet fluctuating and all of that. So I was saying that a lot of the high educated, so it's affecting business. Businesses are looking for people to fill up that position, but people don't have skills, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not just IT. There are so many, a chasm has opened already for every space that someone has, every service that someone who provides it has left. So this is a challenge, but some people will see it as challenge. Oh, everybody has left. But I recommend that you see it as opportunities that I can plug in into this. So this is how to navigate, begin to identify the challenges. And by the way,
Hmm.
may I mention that government is not going to, recently government is planning to sell most of its assets. Like we know the National Theatre maybe mostly sold, NMPC, what you call the refineries, and personally I've done some projects, with the refineries and some of the big projects that are coming up in this country, sell these things to foreigners, I mean to foreign investors. These guys are coming with serious business and they're looking for people. They're looking for people in finance, people in accounting, people in, and there are a lot of, I keep saying, there are a lot of foreigners, so-called expatriates, who are in this country. Most of them are doing the work that average Nigerians can do. So it means positioning, strategic position is also very critical, so that you can get into these spaces, and then you can make as much money as you desire to make. Just for 30 seconds, if you allow me, I also want to just quickly mention that as you are thinking of whether you want to go, think about several factors like weather condition, for example. Some people, when they experience sub-zero temperature, even at 7 degrees Celsius, 10 degrees Celsius, your brain can reset. And this is someone who is already used to our 28, 35 degrees Celsius. So weather condition is something for, there are people, and I'm saying real life story, there are people who have died in negative temperatures, -15, Ontario, Windsor, like it happens in some of these countries. Also, acceptance. Some places, I
Hmm.
mean, of course, we know there's diversity, equity, and inclusion. Everybody is pushing it actually in the open, but behind the scene, we know that sometimes really never accepted, fully accepted, even among our African countries. In South Africa, in the heat of xenophobia, I was in South Africa, so I understand that a time comes when people will feel that these guys are strange. They are coming to strangulate our economy, taking the opportunities we have. The people sometimes react, and that's xenophobia. Government sometimes react, and that's why you see government can wake up, and the government don't owe you anything. They can wake up tomorrow with a policy that will make you be on your way packing out of their country if they see that you are stifling their economy. At that point, one could be coming back like a prodigal son who has left everything and then doesn't have anything but those things that people should consider as well. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Value shared there, value shared there. And I must say, those value are something worthy of note for those that are listening to us on the conversation tonight. You should actually reconsider your decision whether to jackpot. Yes, Mr. Sodeeq has given us a lot of valuable content. I mean, a valuable information regarding jackpot. What are the things you need to do? Mr. Ibrahim is telling you there are more opportunities here, but as we continue the conversation, I'm going to allow us to continue this conversation because this conversation is being recorded live, and then we will continue because it's also going to be available to those that will be able to watch us in the future for reference sake because of the value content we have where we've been listening to on this show right now. So just quickly before we lose much time, I want to move to question number 4. You can see we have those questions divided. The blue part is for Mr. Ibrahim, the black part is for Mr. Sadiq. Mr. Sadiq, please, Jackpot, we've had several unpleasant and unpleasant stories about people who jackpot. For those with unpleasant stories, what do you think they did not do right? What did they do wrong, and how can one avoid such mistakes? Mr. Ibrahim was mentioning some of those errors. I mean, situations that are unpalatable. Please, in 1 minute, please, just answer the question so that we can move forward.
Okay, I think one of the thing that most people, one of the main mistake is that people don't really know what they want. When you don't know what you want, just because you heard people traveling and you also want to join maybe the train. So the main reason is that you see some people, they go through the wrong agency, and these people, at the end of the day, they try to at least siphon them of their money, and they are unable to at least maybe come back, had that mistake. That is very rampant. So this thing boils back to the advice that if you are going to move, try to know what you want to do out there. Are you going out there to find maybe a better deal for yourself in terms of fulfillment? Or are you going there to learn from the expert over there and find a way to maybe transfer? There's something we call transfer knowledge. Then you transfer your skills back home here. We have people outside there that are doing very well and they have their own businesses too that they are being run here. So the main thing is for them to avoid doing a mistake is ensure that you know the reason why you want to go there and follow the right channel. Don't follow the back. Yeah, you see some people going through the desert, going through illegal means, go through the legal routes so that at least by the time you get there, nobody will be able to at least harass you or do any sort of negative things to deport you back to your country. And when you get there again, try to abide to the rules, know the rules of the country so that at least you do things the right way because they have law that is guiding them over there, not in this part of the country where you see some people are above the law, but over there, everyone is seen the same way. So you have to at least behave yourself when you get there so that you don't be on the wrong side of the law.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Don't be on the wrong side of the law. And that is the conversation. We're still tweeting JAPA or SAPA strategic choice in today's economy. Today's economy may be hard, but tomorrow is going to be better. That is what Mr. He has been pitching to us. Let's hear concerning the question again we have for him. Staying back, apart from economic hardship, almost every sector in the country is not doing fine. What can the government and as an individual, what can I do to address it in my little space? Do I still have Mr. Ibrahim there?
Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so I think first of all, government. Let's talk about government. Government has to get serious about what they are doing. Let's start with government policies. In the past few years, yes, we have seen government has interfered. In the they have caused some chaos. First of, for people doing business with very unfriendly government policies. We have seen our CBN governor who is now facing trial. Um, so government policies that favor business, it cannot be overemphasized. So I think government should look at every business area. I mean, if these are some of the reasons why investors moving out. I don't know if you can still hear me. Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I think you are still audible.
If you can
I
hear me, I want to
guess
be sure.
our host is still having network issue, but I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, great. Government policies cannot. When we have good government policies, it will open up the market so that investors know that their funds are safe, and people also know that they are protected. We need labor laws as well because even in the organizations they work, the labor laws doesn't protect them. I used to experience back in the days while I was working with some multinationals in South Africa. At some point, they had very good labor laws that were favoring the indigenous South Africans. So your interest is protected. Generally speaking, government should build roads and then tackle security. Once those ones are done, I think that the economy will naturally open up, and this economy, like I said, is a developing economy. For we as the populace, what we are supposed to do is we are supposed to continue to seek for value, and then COVID has made us understand the meaning of what they say. What is a global village? People are. I
Mm.
mean, it's in this Nigeria that things are not good. Everybody jackpot and so on and so forth. We saw Paystar by Stripe. We saw people becoming unicorns. We saw what do you call it now? We saw acquisitions and mergers happening. We
Mm-hmm.
saw JVs happening from here in Nigeria. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, people should start positioning themselves. Look for, and
Mm.
they are investors. I'm saying it to you now, people that are listening to me. Maybe you have small business ideas and all of that. It's just how people look for these things. Try to clearly connect with companies and individuals. They are investors and companies who are interested in Africa. Why do you think the issue happening in Niger is happening now? ECOWAS, you know, Russia is interested, the West is interested. The same thing we are having in Sudan. They are not leaving Africa alone because Africa is a gold mine. So everybody needs to start strategically positioning themselves, see value. You can, whether you like the government or not, whether you voted this government or not, it's not anybody's business. If you have a value and you can position yourself and you can offer value to the government, offer it, and then get the benefit that you can get. And finally, I just want to also say that it's not just the government and we as populace, religious organizations. And I've had this on my mind for the past few days. In fact, I said I'm going to do a Facebook post about this. Religious organizations, religious bodies need to wake up. It's not just about preaching and collecting people's money. Organizations need to start creating, chores, infrastructures, that can better the life. It's called corporate social responsibility. Everybody have to begin be socially responsible, so that our economic growth is the job of everybody. And that's why most of the Canada, the UK, and US that people are going to, you will see people are getting scholarships. You are getting scholarship private organizations. You are getting time from government. So you can see that everybody got a part play so that this country can be better. Yep. Thank
Hmm.
you.
Everyone has got a part to play so that this country can be better. Even you that you are thinking right now to JAPA, that is the word from Mr. Ibrahim. Thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim. So we're moving close to the last questions for today. The next question is let me just allow us to still take this question. I was thinking to skip it because of time. And please let's stick to time, please. Time is very, very fast spent. But then do you think it is important to learn a
It seems we lost him again. The network.
way?
Okay.
So that's a question, Mr. Monsuru, question for number 5. That is Japa. Do you think it's important to learn a lucrative skill before Japan?
Yes, yes. I think for me, the direct answer to that question is yes, because we know that the world is a global village, and one of the skills that I would recommend for anyone to learn is to learn IT related skills. We've seen the rise of artificial intelligence. We've seen we've, okay, yeah. So to respond to that question, I say yes. It's always very good for you to learn new skills. I know of a friend who just traveled, I think for his PhD, but before he left this country, he was able to upskill himself. He learned what we call data science. He was able to develop different models with artificial intelligence model. And as I speak to you now, he's doing very well. And before he also left, he also learned one important skill, which is communication. He was a Toastmasters. He's a Toastmaster because he is still a Toastmaster. So he was able to learn these communication skills and learn technical skill, meaning that you need not only to learn the technical skill, you also need to learn the soft skill. An important soft skill that will be very useful for you when you travel out there is to learn how to communicate properly. And one organization that can help you to do that is Toastmaster. Then you can now back that up with the current trend of artificial intelligence. You can learn maybe skills like data science because there are a lot of jobs outside the country. If you go to itjobs.co.uk, you will see that they are looking for a lot of data analysts, a lot of data scientists to do a lot of jobs. So if you have these very important skills, if you get there, I don't see you maybe doing any form of manual job. You just key straight into the economy and you'll be able to at least contribute value. So those are the two skills. I will encourage anyone that wants to at least leave the country to learn before going out of the country.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Sodeeq. Learning a skill is important for those that are jackpot, who is intending or thinking, or you have jackpot, you have not learned any skill. Start learning a skill. But then, coming to you, Mr. Ibrahim, does it mean that learning a skill is only for those who want to jackpot? Is it necessary if I'm in the country to learn a skill?
Thank you so much. Yes. Yeah. I think there is some feedback. There's some delay. So you are not getting me immediately.
Okay,
Hello.
go ahead. Go ahead. I can get you now.
Okay. So basically, I think my mentioned some of those skills. One skill I want to highlight it. I mean, whether you are here in Nigeria or you need to learn a skill, I've said that, but one important skill you should have is language skills. I've talked about people picking up jobs. You're working with multinationals. You are here, you're earning in foreign currency. You are all right. You are not under stress. One skill they are looking for is language skill. Can I tell you today that if you learn French and you learn Arabic, you will be sought after. Take it from me. You will be sought after in Middle East and Africa. You will work from
Traveling
here
all
in
over the
Nigeria.
world.
Yes, because I mean, you already, and whatever your primary discipline or department is fantastic. Do you know that in
It's
Africa,
fantastic.
in Africa, we speak English, and most of the Western African countries they are French speaking.
Mm-hmm.
In North Africa,
Mm-hmm.
Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, most of them they speak French and Arabic majorly. And then when you go to the
Arabic.
Middle East, it's Arabic. Do you understand? Once you
Mm.
can speak this language, you are scaling all those. I'm telling you, you start getting
Mm.
jobs. Averagely is between $3,000 to $10,000 per month, and you're all right. So learn language.
Mm.
Sit, I mean, go to Alliance Français, you learn French. I learned French. You know, then another skill which I think you should, I mean, there's graphic design. Everybody's trying to do some designs. Everybody's talking about data science, data science, data science. I can just break it down a little. Personally, I mentioned I'm doing an MBA in the United States of America. I just finished one of the courses I did my first trimester is business analytics. And then I learned a tool, Tableau, for dashboard. So we use it for building visualization. It's just like your Power BI. You know, if and when I'm ready, I mean, organizations they are looking for and this is at management level. Executives are looking for who will summarize their business for them with dashboard. So if you can learn
Mm.
Power BI or Tableau, you are able to analyze data for people, and there is a lot of data right now. Many companies are trying to enter Nigeria. They are trying to do whatever they want to do. They're looking for somebody. They have data, but they need analytics in different categories. So learn data analytics skill and so many others. I just don't want to belabor us with that, but please go learn a language after today, and you thank me for that.
All right, that's it. Word for Mr. Ibrahim. Go learn a language. One key part of the conversation from his point is that learn a language, because language is also a barrier to business, and is also a barrier to whatever decision you want to make, whether you are traveling or you are staying, because there will always people that will be needing that skill set. So learn a value. Get to learn a language, and you can offer value. As we wrap up the conversation tonight, it's been a wonderful conversation. I just quickly want to appreciate all the guests that have been here with us since the beginning of the conversation for tonight. Yeah, it's been almost, I think, yeah, it's 1 hour 30 minutes right now on the show. Let me just quickly say hello to David Solomon. Thank you very much, David Solomon, who joined us on the conversation tonight. David Solomon, thank you. We appreciate you. We say thank you very much. We hope to see you next time, the same time next week. David Solomon said, I love Mr. Ibrahim's point. At the point, then he was also saying something regarding what Mr. Ibrahim said. You nailed the point. I do hope we have others that also pick one or two things from what Mr. Sodeeq said. So, Mr. Ibrahim, thank you very much. I can see Joy also will join us on the conversation tonight. Thank you very much, Joy, for doing this. I see Blessing Imo. Thank you, Blessing Imo. And Rebecca also, thank you, Rebecca, for joining us on the conversation tonight. And the person that started this conversation with us was Justina Oyedeji. She's no longer on the call with us. I do hope she can listen to the rest of the conversation. So as we wrap up the conversation with the last question, thank you very much, everyone who were able to join us. This is the last question. JAPA, in the spirit of patriotism, do you advise Nigerians to come back home after they have spent years abroad, or should they stay? And what condition should warrant them to come back? Mr. Sodeeq.
Yes, I think in the spirit of patriotism, Nigeria should come back home. Nigeria should come back home. But for Nigeria to come back to the country, I will advise that the government put in at least some of the basic amenities. And what are these basic amenities? Ensure that we have good security, at least so that by the time they come back from abroad, when they invest their resources, they'll be able to move around, and the issue of banditry or the issue of terrorism will not be something that will be scaring them off the country. So if the government of Nigeria can ensure that they provide security and also ensure that they provide a stable economic system where people can, be able to navigate this issue of inconsistency in the government policy, I know that some people will definitely want to come back home and invest in this country. But if all these things are missing, if the government are still doing a blaming game in such a way that the issue of insecurity is this, there is no kind of solution around the issue of insecurity, people will definitely want to still stay abroad. But my advice to people is our diaspora is for them to come back home if government can be able to provide some of these basic amenities, particularly the issue of security and also at least some level of electricity, because we also need energy. If people have energy, we can be able to do one or two things in our country here, do your own business, and possibly with their network, they can still trade with the people they live maybe outside the country. So the ball still falls back to the government. Government should do the needful and provide the necessary security because people are really suffering from insecurity.
All right, I'm very, very sure that people are suffering beyond insecurity challenges that we have in this country. But then I'll leave that to Mr. Ibrahim to tell us, how do we build resilience? I mean, in the midst of these challenges, we have so many challenges beyond security. We have a food shortage. We have a lot of financial institution having issues, and you can't just explain things happening. Prices of things keep skyrocketing. If I continue to mention, I won't end this discussion tonight. But then let me leave that to Mr. Ibrahim to tell us, how do we build resilience? I mean, resilience with the different challenges in the country we are in right now.
All right, thank you so much. So first of all, I think you should take care of your physical health so that you don't die just like that. And people are dying. People are dying from stress, fatigue. You
Hmm.
And recently I was discussing with somebody that, thank God for those of us that are in Lagos, somehow, remove traffic. So traffic is one thing that kills people who drive, or even like seems like there's no longer traffic in Lagos. But generally people are stressed. So
Yeah.
take care of the physical health. How do you do that? Do some exercise occasionally, gym, just play football, like be intentional. Myself, I've been telling myself that, guy, I got to be intentional. Like, you got to take care of your physical health, take care of your mental health. You know, and we have a lot of people with mental health issues because you know the society is demanding too much from people. And then when you look around, maybe even when a number of your friends have left and you are still here, so that, am I making the right? This lady, House of Freedom, she wanted to jump into the lagoon, the extravagant wedding, and I left her. I mean, it's all over the news. So take care of your mental health and take care of your soul. Generally, also don't try not to be alone. That's one thing that happens a lot abroad, unfortunately. So of course, but when you travel abroad, if for those of you who would go abroad, look for communities so that you associate with. But here in Nigeria, don't be alone. Find the right network. Have good friends. Stay with family. Those people who align with your goal, your purpose, and whatever you are doing. But don't be a lone ranger, and then of course, if you can afford it, and if you find the right person, get married, have children. We are talking about, don't be alone. And then also, you should save for the rainy days, or your 10 fingers. That's what everybody can save. If you're even if it's 30,000, I don't care any story, but you can save 1,000, you can save 10,000, 100,000. I was speaking with a friend some time ago. He runs his own business, and he says to me, I was telling you about some investment, like some savings. You got to have these savings, man. So start from today. Say, I want to just save, so that in case anything happens, at least you have money for food. That's the way to build resilience. Two more points. Stay updated with the trends. That's happening. Things are happening around us in Nigeria, because this government, things are happening. We don't know what to expect, but every day we see that the government is doing this, government news about what's happening in Nigeria, but also stay updated with the trends, what's happening in the world. Read about the dynamics of that invasion of ECOWAS, or the proposed invasion of ECOWAS, of Niger, what the interest of the of the of EU is, and what the interest of the West is. And because I'm involved in some project, I mean, you must have heard of the gas pipeline that is going to run from Ajakuta, Abuja, Kaduna, Kano to Niger, to Chad, and to Morocco, and to Europe. And so because of that, Russia is interested. Now, stay updated with the trends, what's happening around the world as it concerns Nigeria, so you
Hmm.
can know how to align. Because when there is a shift, And I believe very soon there's going to be a shift. You can be positioned to get the best. And finally, just take it easy. Life is just to be lived. I mean, what I always ask yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen? I don't have a job, or I don't. What's the worst thing that can happen? Let's not put ourselves under so much pressure. People are having stroke because of high blood pressure. They are slumping. Whether here or there, it's happening. You know, so just take it easy. I will end with that. Yeah, thank you.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Yes, I'm so excited that this show was interesting. At the end of it, we spent 1 hour 40 minutes on this conversation because of the importance of the content we are sharing from Mr. Sodeeq to Mr. Ibrahim's opinion. They are all right in their senses, but then your decision must be made by yourself, and that is why we are leaving it open to you. But then we must get the final word from our guest on tonight's session. On tonight's show. Let me hear from Mr. Sodeeq Monsuru. What is your closing remark for today's discussion?
Yes, I would like to thank the organizer of this program, at least to invite us to share our own perspective on this very important question, on this very important topic. And my final part will be that okay, it is good to JAPA, but before you JAPA, try to do your findings, ensure that the country you are going to, they are quite friendly and they fit in into your own culture, and look at other possibilities. Read articles, watch news, go to the embassies of these countries and be able to at least get some useful information. And for those that have already JAPA and you think that that place is not favoring you, you can also retrace your step to
Hmm.
possibly maybe look for better opportunities. Because in all these, we are all looking to better our life. If Nigeria is good, I believe majority of the people will stay in the country. But because there are so many challenges, and I believe that it may take time to fix some of these challenges, and that must have accounted for a lot of in this country. Living this country is also a way to learn new skill, to learn new culture, and to see world from a global perspective. Thank you for the
Hmm.
invitation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much. Thank you.
All right, let me hear from Mr. Ibrahim as we come to
Well,
the
let me hear from
end of the
Mr.
conversation.
All right, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. McCarthy. And also, I want to thank you, Mr. Sadiq, for the insight. So, as a closing remark, I'll say I want to recommend to everybody that you have to work on yourself so that and build the capacity to make decision. So build the capacity to make decisions so that you don't make decision because of what people do or what people say. You make decision, you make informed decision, and whatever decision you choose to make, you decide to stay or you decide to go, do it with your full chest. So, and if like my colleague here said that if you find that maybe you took a wrong step already, you can retrace your step and come back. You don't owe anybody any explanation, you don't owe anybody any apologies. The ultimate goal is you want to have a good life, you want to be happy, and your happiness is your choice, your responsibility is your duty, regardless of what things. So now choose life that you may live. Thank you, Mr. McCarthy, and thank you everyone for listening to us. Yes.
Thank you, thank you. Choose life that you may live. Choose life that you may live. So, because of our time, I just want to quickly say a very big thank you to our two guests on tonight's show. They come from the place of knowledge, from their bank of what knowledge, from their bank of resourcefulness, and to give us an enlightening session for tonight's discussion. Unusual of us. It's been a while that we get to this hour of the day, still discussing on the show, but because of the importance of the discussion, we had to allow that because a lot of people will watch this conversation on the on the different platform where this show is being streamed to. So from here in the studio, from the team at Corporate Live, we say a very big thank you to you, Mr. Sodeeq Monsuru. Thank you very much for being here. Very thank you. And your participation to share more inside the thoughts. Anyway, topic of discussion. But then all Mr. for being. We are so glad and honored to have you on the show tonight. So thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you can hear me, please. Let me be sure you can hear me.
Thank you so much. Yes, we
Yeah,
heard
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And from everyone at Corporate Live Show, we want to say a very big thank you to all our audience who joined us in the conversation tonight. I can see even despite one of our members said, despite the network challenge, I am honestly enjoying the show. So thank you very much. Ajayi Emmanuel is saying thank you very much. And Imasue Morris, also a good friend of mine, is saying what a wonderful insight share. Thanks a lot. And we do hope we see a lot of more people to join us on the show to next week when we come again, sharing more insight about the situation as it concerns you as a professional in this part of the world. Remember, my name is Adeniyi Macarthy. I am your host. You can always refer to me as McAden. Thank you. Till we see you next time. Bye bye for now and enjoy your weekend.